The Giants missed the playoffs for the 8th time in 9 years. ABS is here for 2026. And what should the Giants do in their priorities to end the 2025 season? It's all coming up on Locked On Giants.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Giants' playoffs are officially dead, and the way it happened couldn't have been more painful or more fitting. They had a lead, they blew a lead, the same way they've blown a lead time and time again throughout this whole season. The Cardinals, they chipped away time and time again. And I kept telling y'all, the Cardinals have had the Giants' number. The lead that they had somehow turned into a 9-8 loss, and the Giants are absolutely finito when it comes to the postseason. Logan Webb gave them 6 solid innings of steady work, doing more than enough to line up a win. But once again, the late innings told a different story. Logan Webb gave them 6 innings of solid work, steady work, doing more than enough to line up the win. But once again, late innings told a different story. Doubles, home runs. Of course, Arenado hits a homer, and Ryan Walker once again couldn't slam the door. And I gave Ryan Walker some praise last week when the Giants were barely hanging on and they won in Arizona to not get swept there. The dude just has absolutely no more juice. It's done. He went from being one of the most confusing and fascinating pitchers, right? Going across his body, throwing high 90s, to putting everything on a poo-poo platter for the hitters. And I'm done. I can't really watch it anymore, especially as a closer. He's done. I'm done, and the Giants are done. It's all done. It's over. What sting the most is how this game kind of mirrored the flaws of the season for the Giants as a whole. Bullpen breakdowns, missed opportunities, and an inability to finish when it mattered. The Giants were never truly outclassed time and time again this year. I know a couple times against the Dodgers it did feel like that, but the reality is they continue to beat themselves. And this is the latest collapse, and now the Giants have to focus on 2026. These last, 6 games, whatever it is, and 2026. It was a perfect snapshot of why they won't be playing in October. This is what Bob Melvin had to say. He said, quote, "It is what it is. We knew going in we had to win tonight, so it's something we have to deal with." He also said, "The way I've been describing it for a while now is it's pretty frustrating, and everybody is not too happy about it. This is a day we are not looking forward to, and it's here, so it's disappointing." This is what Logan Webb had to say. "Every year is different. This year is probably the most frustrating. No offense to the teams we've had before, but this is the most talented team I've been on. I think there's a lot of expectations, and it sucks. Looking back at June, that first game in LA, we traded for a guy like Devers, and we were excited. It's kind of hard to pinpoint when things go wrong, but unfortunately, it seems like we've let it stay wrong for a long time. That's not a very good recipe for success. Unfortunately, it seems like this is our 4th straight year where it's been the exact same thing." He also said this, which I thought was interesting. "If there's one thing about Buster Posey is I don't think he's okay with losing. I don't think he's okay with even being 500. He wants to win. I'm not going to play his job because it's not my job, but I don't think he's okay with that." He also, Logan Webb, went back and referenced the Dodger game, that game that we've talked about so much, where he had an opportunity to keep the momentum going after that Patrick Bailey grand slam. And he admitted he went away from the typical things that he does, maybe overpitched, tried to mix things up a little too much, and it ended up biting him in the you-know-what. And now the Giants are done. They're done. Going to close out the season. Obviously, you still got the Rockies, and you still got one more against the Cardinals, and you have the Rockies. As we watch the Cincinnati Reds battle with the Mets, this was a battle that we thought that the Giants would be a part of, and that's just not what it is. And I'm sorry, I got to say this, because coming off the heels of yesterday's show, one of the more contentious shows, you can check that out if you missed it. I talked about Jung-Hoo Lee not necessarily being the center, or possibly not being the center fielder of the future. It went viral on social media at @Styles Files, Styles with an I, if you want to check that out. A lot of comments. You can check it out on YouTube, or obviously wherever you listen to your podcast if you missed the episode yesterday. And people were upset. And I have to say that this is something that I am a bit used to. Okay, going back to my background, I'm from the Bay Area. I was at the flagship for the Warriors for a couple years. And when things are good, things are great, right? They also obviously talk about the Giants and the Niners there. Now I live in Sacramento where we talk about the Sacramento Kings. When things are great, they're great. When they're not great, people get upset. And yesterday, we dealt with a lot of people that were upset about what we discussed. Funny enough, when there are things that come up as far as bringing up more numbers, when I brought up numbers about Jung-Hoo Lee, you didn't like it because you didn't like what the numbers said. And I get it. Jung-Hoo Lee is a fan favorite. I understand that. But the reality is the reality. And this was something that I noticed and we wanted to talk about. We do a show every single day. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. That doesn't mean that I don't think that there's a problem with Elliot Ramos in left field. That doesn't mean any of that. What we're seeing now, and you probably have friends that are fans like this. You might be a fan like this. The Giants are going down the toilet, right? The season is going down the toilet, and you don't know how to feel about it. And it's okay. That's why I'm here. I'll respond. I responded to the most comments yesterday than I ever responded to. And it's fine. And I'm good with it. I enjoy it. That's why I do it. I don't expect everybody to be happy. Somebody yesterday said, Alan, you got to be more positive. You know what I said? Tell the Giants to play better. Tell the Giants to play better. Because the least they could do is close out. At least they could at least give somebody some type of hope and say, well, if this happened, they can't even do that. They can't even fake it. The Giants weren't good enough. So it's Buster Posey's job to make sure they are good enough moving forward. This season was not all bad. I think that we saw some things from Casey Schmidt. I think that we did see an improvement from Jung-Hoo Lee offensively and defensively. He had 3 outstanding plays last night, of course. 3 outstanding plays. So we saw some things. Christian Koss, that dude is going to be a bat in this league. We saw some things. Landon Roop, it wasn't just a rookie phenomenon. Landon Roop, we saw some good things, right? Randy Rodriguez, I know he's going to miss majority of 2026, but we saw Randy Rodriguez. Yoel Peguero, we saw guys. It wasn't a lost season. But now that you're starting to open up, and hopefully Willie Adames can break that 30 home run streak, but now that you're starting to open up your wallet and your pocketbooks, you're expected to make the playoffs. So I can't sit here and fake positivity when I don't think that's what anybody wants. Do you think Buster's faking positivity? Do you think anybody opening their wallets, do you think any of them are faking positivity? They did it for a reason. Now you have your core. Go into the offseason, understand what you're trying to do, and move on from there. So it's going to be a long offseason, but I honestly think it's going to be an exciting one because the Giants did do enough for their fans to have some hope. So that's what this thing is going to turn into. As the season ends, I've kind of let it go. I'm at peace with it. They didn't make the playoffs. Now I want to see what Buster Posey and the crew does next. That's what this comes down to. That's what it all comes down to. On the other side, the ABS system is here. What does that mean for Patrick Bailey and other catchers that make their bread and butter on framing? Well, it's got to be more than that, right? Don't move. More Locked On Giants coming up. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette. Go Long. That's exactly where Rougiette's Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to RUGIET.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes out all the fun. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. Know your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Fees are included. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've bought tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download Game Time today. A huge announcement came out yesterday. Honestly, almost right after we posted this show, but starting in 2026, MLB will roll out a challenge-based ABS system that allows teams to dispute balls and strikes in real time. This isn't full-on robo-umps. Human umpires will still make the initial calls, but teams will have 2 challenges per game, plus extras and extra innings on balls or strikes. For Patrick Bailey, specifically, one of the game's elite pitch framers, the ABS system presents both threat and opportunity. He currently leads catchers in framing by a wide margin. He's credited with 25 catcher framing runs, well ahead of his peers. And in the shadow zone, pitches just off the edge of the strike zone, Bailey converts 47.6% into called strikes, which amounts to over 11 extra strikes per game on average. That's actually insane. Think about that for a second. He is stealing 11 strikes per game. That skill has given his pitching staff a meaningful edge in tight games. Under the new system, some of that edge could be reduced if borderline calls can more often be challenged and basically adjusted by the ABS system instead of relying on umpire discretion. Framing could lose part of its impact. In other words, fewer calls might bend in the catcher's favor. Bailey did speak on this, and he said, quote, "I think it's a bummer for catchers across the league, but I don't think it's going to take away the value of framing," he said. He also added, "I don't think a good framer goes away unless it's wholesale." He acknowledges that while ABS will change the game, framing won't become irrelevant overnight. The Giants staff seems to agree. This is what Bob Melvin had to say. Even with ABS in place, Bailey's value should remain high. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing there. It's essentially because of skills like game awareness, pitch sequencing, and throwing out runners. That still matters. One strategic twist that I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about is that Bailey may also serve as one of the more active challengers in this new world. Nobody knows the strike zone better than him, and he may spot calls worth contesting better than most. Reliever Matt Gage, who's worked with the ABS system in AAA, believes that Bailey's reputation may also lead opponents to challenge more pitches when he's behind the plate, sometimes unsuccessfully. So they're going to think that he's stealing strikes, right? And this is what Gage said. They're going to challenge and lose. And Patty helped us out there. So it's still uncertain. There are a lot of uncertainties that remain, but Bailey and others have raised concerns about consistency. Different ballparks using different calibrations, discrepancies in camera angles, and equipment variation could lead to zones that deviate from what catchers train for. In short, ABS will temper some of Bailey's framing advantage, but it won't erase his value entirely and how well he adapts. How many challenges he wins, how he operates when framing in less potent situations, that will decide whether he remains among the elite catchers in the new era. So there's been a lot of talk about ABSs, and I even said it. ABS is going to change the value for Patrick Bailey, and if he's not able to do this and that, you see it right there. So we can do some rough math quickly, and I'm no mathematician, but if he's stealing 11 strikes and you get 2 challenges per game, and I believe you keep one of them, I don't know that you keep both of them, but even if we were to play that game, that's still 7 strikes, right? And we can do that math and say, all right, well, he is still adding this part of it to the pitching staff and what they're able to do every single day. So it's going to affect Patrick Bailey. Some of it, I do think, to be fair, has turned into a bit of a meme with Patrick Bailey, where people are saying, well, if once ABS comes, Patrick Bailey is going to be out of a job, or he's going to have to learn to hit. I think he was going to have to learn to hit anyway, right? Even as a Gold Glover, I think that Patrick Bailey, and he's hit very well to end the season. People are saying, well, now that ABS is here, Patrick Bailey is focused more on hitting. Some of that might be psychological. I love that. But some of it is also just understanding that you can go through some rough stretches, right? And I think that a little bit of it has been overblown. We can see in clear day there's only so many challenges that a team is going to have. And that really just speaks to how good Patrick Bailey is. Patrick Bailey is so good, they could get the challenges, but they're still going to be getting 7 strikes a game that on average, that he's stealing, give or take. So that's how good Patrick Bailey is at quote unquote stealing strikes. You're taking away some of the strikes that he's able to steal, but he's stealing so many that it's not going to change that much. We haven't even brought up being able to throw out runners and things like that. And Patrick Bailey, I know people haven't been as happy. You dropped that ball a couple nights ago where they could have had that victory when they were not mathematically eliminated. And as a runner, throwing guys out, we know that he can be at the top of his game. So there's still a lot that he can bring to the table. We just have to see. This is one of those things where I'm not going to freak out about anything until I see Patrick Bailey, until I see the ABS system, until I see Patrick Bailey behind the dish, until I see Patrick Bailey at the plate. That's what I need to see before I say, oh, well, Patrick Bailey's completely done. Because we don't know that yet. We do not know that yet. It might not look good based on how a lot of people see his value, but let's see what happens first. And Jesus Rodriguez, who's on the taxi squad, he's going to come up in this last segment here. Jesus Rodriguez, I think, will give a little boost to Patrick Bailey as far as a little fire behind him, and knowing that iron sharpens iron. Enough with some of the guys that they've had. He knows that this is a young dude that the Giants are not going to be afraid to put behind the dish. So especially with ABS, to be fair. So he's going to have to hit the baseball. Not going to freak out yet, but obviously this will change some of Patrick Bailey's value. We don't know how much until we just see it. That's it. If it comes off and the numbers support that, then we'll see. But right now, if he's stealing on average 11 and you only get so many challenges, you're still going to get a lot of the good Patrick Bailey, plus what Matt Gage said as far as other teams maybe thinking that he stole a strike when he actually didn't. So that's some chess, not checkers stuff right there. One more segment with you. Let's discuss the priorities to end the 2025 season since the playoffs are done. Don't move. More Locked On Giants coming up. NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. I've been reaching for my new pants almost every day. My Doer jeans. These are the most comfortable pair of jeans I own. I almost forget I'm wearing jeans to begin with. I wear them to work, running errands, and just chilling around the house. They're antibacterial, meaning they stay fresh longer, so I can wear more and wash less. The jeans are made with Cool Max that regulates your body temperature and wicks moisture. Keeps you cool and comfortable as temperatures change. Great for any season. Doer combines classic jeanswear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear. It's the best of both worlds. Designed to look great and stay comfortable all day, no matter what you're doing. Doer are pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim. There's a reason why they call them the world's most comfortable pants. But don't take our word for it. Go try on a pair for yourself. Doer just opened a store right here in Hayes Valley, so you can feel the difference firsthand. Go check them out at 567 Hayes Street. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order. Or check them out online at shop shop, DUER.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. So we have some priorities to close out the season now that the Giants are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Here are the priorities, all right? Willie Adames, you have to find a way to 30 home runs. You have to, brother. We need the streak to end. Since Barry Bonds, no Giant has hit 30 or more home runs. Willie, you're at 28. We need 2 more. You got 4 games to do it. You got to figure it out, brother. That's number 1. Number 2, enough with the pinch hitting for Bryce Eldridge, okay? You're pinch hitting Bryce Eldridge for guys like Wilmer Flores. We don't even think Wilmer Flores is going to be on the team next season. I don't understand this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you are looking for your next go-to guy, you expect him to hit lefties and righties. So if you expect him to hit lefties and righties, why not get him started now? I understand the argument. You don't want to throw him in the pool too soon. I get all that. But he's already here. He's already here. And Bryce Eldridge hits lefties pretty well. He's been struggling. Maybe a different look would help him. Ever think about that? So let Bryce Eldridge hit lefties as well. And honestly, Drew Gilbert too. Drew Gilbert, that was another name. Again, going back to the Jung-Hoo Lee thing, there's a whole conversation going on in Mets world. I guess Mets world and all those fans, they didn't really like the whole thing with the Major League Baseball social media accounts, all the love that Drew Gilbert was getting, because it kind of came off like, hey, you guys gave him up for a rental. What are you doing? That was a terrible move. So now that Drew Gilbert is hitting under 200 since that Colorado series, Mets fans are now kind of spinning the block and enjoying themselves about the whole Drew Gilbert thing. I don't know what Drew Gilbert is going to be. I know that I really do like Drew Gilbert, and I've been very open about that, just so people don't get it misconstrued. Going back to the first segment, I don't know that Drew Gilbert's going to be an all-star. I'm not telling you that he's going to be a superstar. It's just nice to see some fire in that dugout. That's all. And he was hitting pretty well at the time, and he plays a dang good outfield and a dang good center field. I'm not saying that Drew Gilbert is going to be the next Ken Griffey Jr. I would never say that, because I don't think that he's going to be. But he does deserve a shot at this. So stop pinch hitting for Drew Gilbert. Definitely stop pinch hitting for Bryce Eldridge. Why are you doing this? By the way, looks like Robbie Ray has been shut down for the season. The Giants must be watching the show. And we've seen a lot of growth these days. So I don't know if there's a Giants listener. I was at a River Cats game. So Alan, you're doing a great job with the River Cats. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know who you are. And I'm just having some fun here. I don't know that the Giants are actually listening. But Robbie Ray, it seems like he has been shut down. So you have Brew Baker, who's going to start tonight for the Giants. Good for him. Get Jesus Rodriguez some ABs. He's on the taxi squad now. We understand that he can at least see some good stuff and start to learn from these guys. He's on the taxi squad now. Get him some ABs. Why not? Why not? Okay, last but not least, you've been bringing him in for defensive purposes. How about a Grant McCray sighting? Let us not forget, before they traded for Drew Gilbert and going back to last season when Jung-Hoo Lee wasn't playing, Grant McCray was the talk of the town. This is the one thing about baseball. You could have your family in town, all this stuff. He finally made it. Then the next season, things change. And Grant McCray had to spend the whole season, or essentially the whole season, in Sacramento. Get Grant McCray some ABs. I'll say it like this. Elliot Ramos. He's another guy. Do we really need to see that much more from Elliot Ramos? Do we? And I know he's been a workhorse for the Giants. It's the first time in a very long time Giants had 4 guys hitting 20 or more home runs. Heck of a season for Elliot Ramos. But can we get Grant McCray some ABs? Grant McCray, like I said, Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be missing a little bit. You only got 4 more games left at this point. But Grant McCray, Bryce Eldridge, obviously, he's going to be in there. Stop pinch hitting for him. I've already talked about Drew Gilbert. Just some of these guys that are already here. Right, Jesus Rodriguez, throw him in there too. That's where I'm at with all this. Those are the priorities that I would like to see. And if you have time, I'll add a bonus if he's ready to go. He only pitched 2 innings when he was in Sacramento. if you can get Blade Tidwell a start, that would be great. Now, I will say this. I was reading the reports. Robbie Ray seems to be done, but Verlander and I believe Logan Webb are going to start their last starts for the season. But if you can find a way to get Blade Tidwell in there, that'd be awesome. Let's just see what he looks like. I know he's coming back from that shoulder soreness, and like I said, only pitched 2 innings, but that's where I would go there too. That's where we're at with this, man, because it has been a heck of a season. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. I don't know that there were more ups than downs, but when you're dealing with the team 500 and the Giants, now that I think about it, the Giants are essentially fighting. I don't know that they can get to 500. That's where they're at. That's where they're at. So this is from my guy, Jeff Young. Well, I guess I picked one heck of a game to sleep through. With last night's loss, the Giants won't finish with a winning record for the 4th straight year. So 500 is on life support, and this is the 4th straight year that they won't finish with a winning record. And I promise you, I had to get all this out. As we move forward into the offseason, the hope will return. That's what off seasons are for. We're going to talk about who the trade candidates are. We're going to talk about who the free agents are. We're going to talk about all about it. Who can take a leap internally as well. But on the day where the Giants were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, you just got to call a spade a spade. You have to call a spade a spade. I think we have one more in us. Obviously, there are going to be conversations about Bob Melvin, but we are going to start to turn the page as we can. I know the season's not over, but yeah, it's about how you want to go into the offseason, because Bob Melvin, that's the next thing on the list. Bob Melvin and that coaching staff, who stays, who goes, do they all stay? Do some of them stay? That's next on the list. But we're going to start to turn the page here because 2025, couple more games. Let's see what we can see from some of the young guys and get on over to 2026. I'm ready. Not in my normal life, but as far as the Giants are concerned, let's get to 2026. Thank you for listening to Locked On Giants. Be sure to follow us on social media at _Souths Souths with an I, and the official Locked On Giants account. Thank you for making Locked On Giants your first listen every single day. For your second listen, find the all-night Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until tomorrow, we'll talk to you then. Peace.